Pancake everyone, friends! Today we are going to talk about the most isolated, most secretive country in the world, North Korea. How did it come to be and why does it have hostility towards South Korea? Where did the leaders of North Korea come from? What is a pleasure squad battalion? And much more. Ready, set, go! Why is South Korea divided into North and South? Until 1945, Korea was a colony of Japan. After the Allied victory in World War II over the Japanese samurai, the territory of Korea north of the 38th parallel was divided into two camps. The north was under Soviet control and the south was under the US. In 1948, two governments were formed. The pro-Soviet one in the north and the pro-American one, as you guessed it, in the south. And so it began. Control over all of Korea became an attractive idea for both North and South Koreans. This struggle continues to this day. Grandson of the leader is also a leader. The founder of North Korea was Kim Il-sung, and the leadership was passed to his son, Kim Jong-il. With his passing, the banner of leadership over the republic was taken up by the young and ambitious grandson of the famous grandfather, Kim Jong-un. Don't believe that a young person can be a leader? Here are some of his titles: Supreme Leader of North Korea, Leader of the Party, Army and People, and concurrently Marshal of North Korea. The New Star, Brilliant Comrade, Genius among Geniuses in Military Strategy. He is currently leading this amazing country. Kim Jong-un's security detail is one of the largest in the world. Several hundred heavily armed guards protect him on a daily basis, with his personal guard consisting of around 25,000 people. Serving in the guard is not only prestigious but also lucrative, as each guard is entitled to their own housing and food ration. However, becoming one of Kim's guards is not easy, as the selection process is brutal. Who are these running guards? The running guards who gracefully run alongside Kim Jong-un's limousines have become his signature. They were first noticed during Kim's visit to Singapore, where a dozen men in black suits were seen running alongside the leader's Mercedes. They make up the front line of Kim's defense, monitoring the situation around him and providing direct protection. All members of the first line of defense are approximately the same height as the leader, have keen eyesight, are trained in marksmanship, and are skilled in martial arts. They are the only ones allowed to be near Kim with weapons. The guards wear dark suits with ties and earpieces, but they are not required to run alongside the car constantly. They only accompany the limousine until the vehicle convoy. Do you doubt the leader? Get a fastest grenade. There are rumors that in 2013, Kim ordered the execution of his uncle for corruption and a lavish lifestyle. A year later, his wife faced the same charges. In 2015, the defense minister of North Korea was shot with an anti-aircraft gun for falling asleep at a meeting. According to unverified reports during his reign, he has executed around 25 high-ranking officials from the country and military. The North Korean army is one of the largest in the world, with over 1.3 million people serving in it, making it the 5th largest army in the world, all while having a population of only 25 million. Additionally, there are around 5.6 million people in reserve. North Korea spends a significant amount of money on maintaining its army, which includes a submarine fleet with ballistic missiles, powerful artillery, and nuclear weapons. South Korea has nothing comparable in terms of military strength, and it is likely that the United States has not attacked North Korea because of its possession of nuclear weapons. If North Korea were to strike, it could wipe out America's closest allies in the region. South Korea and Japan are constantly in a state of tension due to having North Korea as their neighbor. The hacker group LAZARUS. There are rumors that the most terrifying cyber attacks in recent years are the work of Kim Jong-un's personal cyber army. These people allegedly serve in the General Staff Department's Reconnaissance Bureau of the Korean People's Army and are allowed to commit any computer crimes. It is possible that these hackers transfer money to North Korea's budget, promising them protection, technical assistance, and security. In 2020, they allegedly stole at least $300 million from foreign bank accounts. This money went towards financing the creation of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles, although this is not confirmed. They have hacked into Indian power plants, South Korean industrial companies, American Boeing, Swedish Volvo, Sony Pictures, Garmin, as well as cryptocurrency exchanges and FBI offices. The car fleet of the Great Leader. The car collection of the Great Leader Kim Jong-un is a well-guarded secret. Like his father and grandfather, he has a love for ground transportation and prefers to travel by land for security reasons. It is rumored that a special armored version of the Mercedes-Benz Pullman was created for him. His secret garage is said to hold 12 exclusive supercars, including a Chevrolet Camaro, a Dodge Viper, and several expensive Ferraris. However, the keys to Kim Jong-un's garage are said to be better guarded than a nuclear weapons facility, and no one has been able to photograph any of the cars in his collection, not even James Bond. Daimler, the company that makes Mercedes-Benz, denies any involvement in this collection. Daimler is not involved. Daimler's press secretary claims to have no knowledge of any Mercedes-Benz cars in Kim Jong-un's garage or how they could have gotten there. He thinks that the leader must be driving used Mercedes cars instead. However, American journalists have claimed that the cars were shipped in containers from Rotterdam to Delhi in China, then to Osaka, Japan, then to Busan, South Korea, and finally to the Russian port of Nakotka. From there, the cars were driven to Vladivostok and flown out on Air Koryo's Il-76 planes. Interestingly, during a military inspection, Kim once was seen in the black seat of a green Russian LADA PRIORA sedan. AvtoVAZ, the company that makes LADA cars, sells cars to North Korea, so it is not uncommon to see them on the streets there. While the cars are primarily used by the military, not all the drivers are uniformed personnel. What could be better than a car? Of course, an armored train. The most secret object of the leader of North Korea during his travels is an armored train. Remember that green one with a yellow stripe? Each car is special. There is a power station for autonomy, several living quarters, a kitchen, a restaurant, security cars, and even a garage. And all of this is a state secret. Only Kim knows which car in the train is his. In Vladivostok, Kim Jong-un got off the fourth most armored car. The thickness of the windows is about 5 centimeters, no less. There is also powerful protection against eavesdropping, and this huge, completely sealed train with a closed ventilation system can withstand a nuclear strike. In principle. Interestingly, a reconnaissance train goes 20 minutes ahead of train number 1 to check the condition of the track. There is also a train for cover behind. The leader's limousine, ministers, protocol services, journalists, and staff are all on the train with him. The armored train has twice clattered its wheels on the steel rails in Russia, traveled around the Far East, and even been to Moscow. Does the leader of North Korea have a plane? Of course he does. It's an excellent aircraft, number 1, that not even the President of America has. It's a reliable Soviet-make Il-62 in a super exclusive design. The government Il-62 was built in 1985, served the Kim family, and continues to do so reliably to this day. By the way, his Il-62 is the oldest of all the number 1 aircraft of world leaders. It doesn't fly often, but when it does, it's quite impressive. Does Kim Jong-un have a basketball? Of course he does. He's a passionate basketball fan. Do you know who his friend is? NBA star Dennis Rodman. He personally visited the leader of North Korea and even sailed on his mighty ship. Together, they went on a massive yacht to a mysterious island that belongs to the North Korean leader. Only few are allowed to see it, and those who have seen it cannot forget it. Naturally, the location of the island is also highly classified. Dennis described his week-long stay there as a 7-star party. It's a luxurious resort with all the infrastructure made for just one person, or rather 2. Perhaps it's time to talk about the people of North Korea and other things in order. Let's talk about it in order. Cleanliness and order on the streets of the cities are the norm of life. The main mode of transportation is bicycles. North Koreans are mostly slim and fit. At present, the country is self-sufficient in food production. Clothing is mostly locally made. Men like to wear a jacket buttoned up to the chin, while women prefer brightly colored dresses. No matter what style a citizen of Socialist Korea prefers, there are always tidy and neat, just like the country's landscape. The meticulously cultivated terraced rice fields are enchanting to behold. Do you remember the Soviet monument Worker and KOLKHOZ Woman? Well, the North Koreans have their own version, but with an additional intellectual raising his hand and holding a brush for writing hieroglyphs. Including this social class as a driving force of the revolution is grandfather Kim's innovation. They also really love Soviet cinema there. Nowhere else in the world are as many films from the USSR shown on the television as in North Korea. Soviet classics rule. Don't change the channel. Who should give their best years? Of course, North Korea. A 6-day work week and a person's personal life are not personal matters. Early marriages are not encouraged. Women should marry between the ages of 25-28, while men should marry between 28-30. Before starting a family, you must devote your best years and fresh energy to the country and society. And this applies not only to military service but also to pursuing a profession. Trump said it, and the Koreans did it. Remember Donald Trump's famous speech about the need to destroy North Korea? The Koreans certainly do. Almost 5 million people volunteered for the military after hearing that speech, including 1.5 million women. What a strong spirit. Plus, there is nuclear program. Even ambitious Uncle Trump immediately lost interest in attacking North Korea. Does North Korea have any friends? Many countries clearly and even more secretly support North Korea. Museums in North Korea have many gifts from countries such as China, Russia, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and others. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea maintains diplomatic relations with 161 countries. Didn't expect that? Who has the most mysterious media on the planet? North Korea, of course. A powerful broadcasting system for spreading its thoughts to the world. The Voice of Korea radio station broadcasts on short and medium waves, as well as via satellite in 8 foreign languages, including Russian. Impressive, right? Listening to foreigners inside the country is strictly prohibited. It is punishable by imprisonment. Only radio receivers with fixed tuning to North Korean stations are allowed. Television broadcasts for programs. Population's television must be registered. Frequency settings are blocked and control organs are sealed. The internet is currently banned, but there is an internal analog without access to the world network. 2 newspapers in English and French are also printed, in addition to the official Korean one. Escaping from North Korea. Why do they run away? For various reasons. Some run away from the regime, some for a new life, and some to avoid punishment for crimes committed. Traitors also run away. Where to? Mostly to South Korea. Until 1993, there was a law in the South that provided generous financial support to each refugee, and those who provided particularly valuable intelligence were given a significant reward. The amount of payment was tied to the price of gold. Some refugees were provided with housing and the opportunity for higher education. Military personnel could serve in their previous rank, and some refugees were even provided with a bodyguard. Escape to North Korea. Yes, you heard that right. People are running in the opposite direction. Among the night runners are both Northerners and Southerners. Why are North Koreans returning to their homeland? There are 3 main reasons. First, North Korean intelligence agency personnel must return after completing their mission. That's clear. Second, and apparently the main reason, a significant number of defectors cannot cope with the problems and discrimination in a foreign country. Third, ordinary criminals are running away from punishment. Known Southern defectors. South Korean Army officer Ken Tamu defected to the North with this unit in the late 1940s, and eventually rose to the rank of Lieutenant General in the DPRK. Philosophy professor at Pusan University, Yeon No-bin, also defected to the North in 1983. The most famous defectors of the 70s and 80s are Cho Dok-sin and Cho Hon-hee. Former South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Dok-sin emigrated to the North in 1986. It should be noted that his son recently decided to settle in the North, and this happened under the rule of Kim Jong-un. South Korean Major General Cho Hon-hee, one of the founders of the Korean martial art of Taekwondo, also defected to the North at one point. South Korean Ministry of Maritime Affairs official Mr. Lee, whose recent death in a border incident caused a stir, attempted to flee to North Korea. He had accumulated huge debts at home that he couldn't pay, plus a divorce. Perhaps this was the reason for his escape. Generous Kim forgives. In recent years, the North Korean government has been fairly lenient towards defectors who return, as long as they haven't divulged any national secrets. They may not even be repressed and may be actually used in official propaganda. They may be required to give lectures about the hardships of life abroad, expose the capitalist lifestyle, write articles, and so on. On the other hand, the South Korean leader is more likely to send them back if they do not hold any special value for him. Can you walk alone in North Korea? Yes, if you are a native North Korean. If you come from another country, you will most likely be assigned a personal invisible companion for company. They will accompany you everywhere. Watch where you go, who you talk to, what you are interested in. Tourists definitely won't be alone in this country. North Korea, where is the truth and where is the lie? Information about this fascinating country is very scarce, contradictory, and almost always unconfirmed. In addition, there is a belief that there is a Western media conspiracy against North Korea. Korea, most precisely against the leadership of this country. The demonization of the country based on its secrecy and the odiousness of its leader has reached unprecedented levels. The incredibly unbelievable stories about the lives of North Korean citizens and the practices of the North Korean authorities are mind-boggling. It's impossible to distinguish truth from lies. One thing I can say for sure is that I would gladly visit the country. Would you visit Kim Jong-un? Write in the comments. Have a good mood and goodbye until the next video.